we had an opportunity to pass these little things out in our worship service. It was a little purple sheet, and on the front of it, it says, it talks about how we're doing, and it asks the question, how's God nudging you? And the other thing that was on here was, where would you like to see yourself in your faith journey by the end of the new year? Let me repeat that. Where would you like to see yourself in your faith journey by the end of the new year? Now, this question is not a new one. It comes from a guy by the name of John Wesley, who said to Methodists, if you're not moving forward, you're slipping behind. That was his thing. You got to intentionally do something. You can't just be sitting saved and sanctified and hold on, because if you do, you're going to fall behind. It's going to become mundane for you. You remember that thing we started out with today? My worry is that the Methodists will cease to exist. What? Because they just become lukewarm. They just go through the road. They just do the murk, all this kind of stuff. And they try it, and they got good hearts, and they're trying to read their Bible and pray, but it just doesn't happen. And they get more guilty, and they go, I'm just going back to low speed. I'm going back to neutral in our life. Now, y'all are farmers, most of you, or you know about farm people. You don't stop. You live on a farm, man. It'll take over you if you don't keep up there. You got responsibilities. Do the chores. You got to do things in successive order. You got to make that thing happen. Is it hard? Yeah, it is. Is it difficult? Sometimes it can be. But you know what? You love to be out there on that tractor. You love to be out there on that land. You like to walk through it. You know what? It's in your bones. You know what that's all about. And just like, how do we go to the next level with God? That's in our bones too. And see, if we don't do that, all of a sudden we get hungry. Remember I talked about this, that spiritual hunger thing? We try filling it with so many other things, but it doesn't work. It's like you go to Barnes & Noble and you buy all these devotional books and whatever, and you come home and you put them on the shelf and hope that by osmosis somehow it gets to you. Or else you got great intent. You say, I'm going to read the Bible. So you get in your Bible, you open up your Bible, you start with Genesis. You get into that, and all of a sudden you're into so-and-so begat so-and-so, and you're like, oh, where are we going with this? Then they go, I think I'll do the New Testament. You get in the New Testament, it's like, okay, man, I'm telling you, it's just not working for me, So we make all these suggestions, these resolutions, we do all this kind of stuff, and it just ends up with guilt, guilt, guilt. That's what she was talking about today, Jana was, about how this guilt gets layered on us, and finally it's like, how do we get out of this? How do we do this? So what do? We try to study the Bible more, and we don't feel guilty, and we try to ask God with it, and we forget to pray, and before you know it, somehow our faith doesn't become part of our life. Now, I want you to know, I've been praying about this. I've been praying about this because as I drove in today, I've been asking for the last 2 weeks, God, show me where you want us to go with this thing. I need something fresh. I need something new. I need something that'll practically meet the needs of the people within the congregation. Now, John Wesley asked that same question. John Wesley found himself, he went to Oxford University. He had a bunch of other folks going to Oxford. That means you're kind of smart and you really wanted to do something about it. And John Wesley said, I've got to find God. So what he did was he learned the Old and New Testament in the original languages. In fact, he learned as much he could recite it going forward and backward. Now that's crazy, isn't it? Talk about micromanaging. Not only do it by memory, but to do it backwards, like that's going to help. But his idea was, I got to find God in this whole process. And he tries so hard. How's God want me to do something different by the end of the year? And Wesley tried it, and he failed over and over again. It was terrible. Finally, he goes, I just can't make it. In fact, some of his friends said to him, John, it's like when you're a drunkard and you drink. You know what? You say to yourself, I need to get off the drink, but you know what? After a while, you just fall back into it, and you start drinking again. Before you know it, you're back off the wagon. I mean, that's how it goes. You understand what I'm saying? John Wesley says, okay, we got to do something about this. What can we do? So what he said was, I'm going to get some of my folks together, and we're going to practice certain disciplines. We're going to practice some stuff and do life together on a day-by-day basis, one day at a time. And in order to do that, he got some folks together, and what he'd do, he'd get them together, and then he'd ask this question, how's your soul today? How are things going for you today? How are things going for you today? Now, you and I know in life, if we see somebody, what do we sometimes say to them? Hey, how you doing? How are things? Oh, God. And you know what they do? They look at you and go, oh, I'm not telling you. Wonderful. All good. Thank you. We go, that's great. And then if they're really kind, they say to you, how's it going for you? And what do you say? Yeah, busy, but likewise, I'm holding in there. That's what, I love this. We do this. It's like saying hi, hello, hello. Only we ask a question, but we really don't want to have an answer. In fact, if somebody says, well, let me tell you, you go, I don't have time. Why don't you write that down to me or send that to me next week? See how it's going for you, and then check me next year, that kind of thing, etc. Wesley said it's critically important that as Methodists, we ask that question. How's your soul today? How's things going for you? Because that's what it's all about. And don't give that same rote answer. We got to do something a little bit different. And don't make it too hard. Make it simple. All you got to do is say, how's it going for you? And you say, well, I'm having some struggles. This is what I'm doing. I need some help. How do you need help? Well, I need some help to do something. So in Wesley's day, if they get together and do this, it's a way of asking the same question we ask. How do you want to be different at the end of the year than where you are right now? And that's what Wesley would ask these people. He'd get them together. And these folks would meet and for an hour, only met for an hour, and he'd do this whole thing, and he would do it every week, sometimes every day for some of them, but that's how he did. He met with them and did this whole thing and put it all together. All right. So he does this thing, and everybody goes, John, what are you doing? You and those little holier-than-thous that get together with you, what are you, following your little method? And they'd walk down the way, they go, Methodist, look at you, following a method. And John Wesley said, I hated that word. I detested that word, Methodist. Can you believe? They're thrown in our faces. I hate it. But then after a while, he kind of fell in love with that. Thank God that he said that to be the name for us and not some other things I could say that could be the name of what they call our faith and tradition. And he said, you're Methodist. That's what it's all about. You got a method. You follow something. You do a ritual. You do a road. It's like John Wesley says, what we need is something like a spiritual AA group. Y'all know what an AA group is? Don't hold your hand up. I don't want to know. But if you haven't, you get together and everybody sits there and goes, I've tried, but it failed, hadn't worked. And everybody goes, yeah, tried, failed, didn't work, whatever. Okay, we're going to try something a little bit different this week. And if you got problems, call me and I'll encourage you. You know how this goes? Don't answer again. I'm just asking that facetiously. But that's what they do. And they ask these questions of each other. How's it going? John Wesley would get the people called Methodists together, and then you know what they talk. And if some Methodists would say, I'm having a problem with drink, you know what they do? They said, we're going to pray for you, brother. And then Brother Jones over here and Brother Smith are going to stay at your house tonight. And one's going to sleep outside of your door, and the other's going to sleep outside of your window to make sure you don't slip out. And we're going to have you have a successful night. We're going to take care of that for you. And that's what Methodists did. Can you believe that kind of thing? We were out there helping people. We were out there saying, how's your soul today? And if you had problems, it's like, hey, you know what? We'll help you. We're not going to condemn you. We're going to help you do the whole thing. They followed a method as part of that. What did John Wesley say? What I fear is that we will not become a living congregation, a living sect. We'll die. We know why? We'll just go neutral and we will go just lukewarm. And that will kill us, he said, if we do that. So John Wesley would ask the question, how's your soul today, brother? What's going on? What's happening with those kinds of things? And he found it important to get people together. It's kind of like, what makes your week? What makes your day? When you get stopped with somebody and have, let me repeat that one more time. What makes your day and make it all go good? What do you start the day with? You say to yourself, you know what? I got to find another person. Do you want to go have some coffee? You've been there. Now, I'm out of the Dutch tradition, which means let's go have coffee time. Which I think to myself, are you serious? Coffee time? I don't like coffee. Well, nonetheless, you're a Methodist. You're a Dutch. You got to have your coffee. The same thing. You got to have these things that you have to have. Part of your life, part of your living. It's who you are and what you have. We love getting together in Iowa and have coffee time. We do. We love it. We go home. We get up in the morning. First thing, coffee. We love it. It has nothing to do with the addictive effects of coffee. It's just we need this. But the reality is we love it. Sometimes. Why do we love to come to church sometimes? Because you just like to be with other people that you know and that you love, don't you? And if they aren't here, you feel a little sad, don't you? You think, where are they? Oh, I wish they were here. That makes Sunday for me. Getting together, relationships. What does Jesus want to do? Have a relationship with us. What did he create us for? For a relationship. He wants us to work with him day by day. Not just a one time a year, not just for an hour. He wants to work with him in a way to do that, but without putting all this guilt and everything else on us as part of the life itself. So these Methodists would get together. They'd have an opportunity to ask the question, how's your soul good today? John Wesley would say to them, by the end of the year, by the beginning of the year, I want you to write down where you want to be by the end of the year. Think about it, pray about it, put it together, and then share it with us. And you know what? We'll develop some things that are needed in order to help you get to that point. We're not going to leave you alone, because as you're trying to do certain things in your life, like learn to pray more, read the Bible, that kind of stuff, we'll get some other people to help you and to go with you in that path so that you're able to move together and you just do something. So that you can be something. That's what John Wesley was all about. So, 2 weeks ago, I had this little piece of paper, and I wrote it down for you, and I said, where would you like to be? Where's God nudging in your faith, and where'd you like to see yourself at the end of the new year? Y'all with me? Okay. So, AKA, look at that sheet. It's a full-size sheet that's been printed. And pull it out a minute, and on it, both sides start out by saying Mingo on top. Because I spent hours going over this thing. I read all the stuff you wrote down. And by the way, if you want to fill out a purple sheet, you can do it after church and give it to me. But I wrote down all the things that you had, and I want you to go to the side that says Mingo is God nudging you, and it's got a list of little dots, and it says, where would you like to see yourself at the end of the year, ... etc. I'm not going to go through this, just to let you know. These are a compilation of some of the responses you gave me as a church. Where do you want to see yourself? You'll probably read some of your stuff in there. I did shorten some things up and try to put them into categories. But God nudging you, where would you like to see yourself at the end of the year? How would you like to renew your relationship with God? What would you like to do? Volunteer service, prayer, personal time, and bring growth, that kind of stuff, etc. But this is a list of what you said that you need. You with me? So rather than us trying to put something together and going, I hope it hits the target, we're saying, what do you want? And we as the church said, we'll develop something to help you meet that. You with me? And you may be surprised because you may not be alone in that request. You may have other people that want to do it. Now, maybe you want to do it by yourself. Maybe you got somebody who you need to help you do it. John Wesley called accountability. He said, spiritually, when two or more are lifting, it's a lot easier. If you get together with another person, hold accountable, and you say, how's it going for you? How's it going for you? Oh, yeah, me too. We blew it, didn't we? Let's have another cup of coffee. Whatever. Let's make it. You understand what I'm saying? Now, that's what he said. So the question is, what do you want? And rather than us saying, what do you want, and then check up in the end, like the final's coming in December, and I hope you studied well and you made it. No, instead of going, we're going to help you. Because you know what? We're like a spiritual AA group. We're a hospital in this church. We're not for the people who are well. We're for the people who are sick. Raise hands. Yes, exactly. We're for the folks who need a little help. Yeah, that's me. But here's the thing. You got to fit it into my schedule and my lifestyle. Let's be honest. If it doesn't fit into your schedule and your lifestyle, we're lost. You can't say to people, we're going to have a small group coming up on Sunday evenings from 4 to 5, and we sure like to have you come be part of it. They go, ain't there. That doesn't work for me. Well, we're going to have one on a Wednesday. Yeah, that doesn't work for me either. Other people go, perfect. I love that. It works out well. So, we have busy lives. We have a lot of things going on, especially where we are right now. And if we're really untamed, we really got a lot of things. A lot of pressures. I don't have time. I don't have energy. I don't have any way to do this and put it together, What is it? So I took all of that and I piled it together and said, what does it look like? I gave each one a little mark and then added them up and say, which is the most, what did most people say? Second, third, fourth, and fifth. Turn the page over. Check this out. The results are in. Now, I put these together because this is what I tried to say and try to categorize them in what it is that you were saying to me. So number one you said was, we want to have an opportunity for personal growth. In other words, we want to have an opportunity to try to be different. We want an opportunity to be for God. I mean, isn't that what Jesus never called us Christians. He called us disciples. And what does the Methodist say we're supposed to be doing? Making disciples. What is that Matthew thing you read? That's you and I. We're called to be disciple. What does that mean? We're a person who learns. We learn by testing, by trying. Jesus had the disciples following him go, what'd you learn today? Well, nothing. We didn't see you do anything. You didn't see the healing and all the stuff I did? No. And then he had to do it over and over again until he finally got it down. People in this church want an opportunity to get personal, to have it impact them in their life and what's going on and what's happening. Some of you wrote down, tell me more about that John Wesley thing. What does he do? What did John come up with? Because even though it was 100 years ago or whatever, it still works for us today. Second thing you talked about was devotionals. This was double what all the others were. Devotionals. Somehow I need help every week. And most of you said every day. I need to have some reminders, something to help me every day. And I need a daily question. I need something that will help me refocus every day. Some of you use upper rooms, and that's a great thing. Others go, I have a busy life and a busy lifestyle and a busy schedule. I have no time for that. Whatever comes to me has to interrupt my day. And I got to give it a little bit of time. Not much time, but I got to give it a little bit of time. Devotionals over the top. And for our church, it was number one for them. They said, we got busy lives. We're out in the field. We're in the pickup, all that kind of stuff. We need somehow to have a devotional come to us that will help us to put it together. And if you've already got something, that's wonderful. What I'm trying to do is get everybody together, whether you're at the beginning of this race or at the end of it, and what does it need? Helpful devotional that keeps us focused upon God. Third thing you talked about was Bible study. We want the Bible. We want to study the Bible and everything else, okay? I'm going to talk about that in a minute. The fourth thing you put down was volunteering. We want to serve in our community. We want to serve other people. We want to help people. That's what we want to do. You wrote that down as your number 4 thing. A lot of you talked about that, and you do a lot of it. You give out to people in the community. People are going through hard times. You pray about it and everything else to put together. The number 5 was prayer. You talked about we need to make sure we got our prayer groups and prayer symbols and all that kind of stuff going, which we do. The other one is small groups you've talked about. How do we meet for coffee? How can we meet with other people to do that if we need it? Opportunity to get together with other people. Some of you didn't want that or need that, but some of you kind of cried out for it, and you wanted that kind of thing. Number 7 was songs on the radio. I'm like, what kind of group am I dealing with? But you know, when you get in your car and your pickup, what do? Turn the radio on, so you're a Christian channel, and what do? You listen to a song, and what do you go? I like that song. Oh, that's my favorite song. I need that. Because in reality, that's our spirituality today. We select those songs, and they're so popular because it speaks to who we are or where we are or what we want to be. And those songs are important. We go, can you play that song? That's my favorite, you know. And for some reason, you all wrote down you like songs on the radio. And I thought, are you kidding me? I could ask you, what's your favorite song you like to listen to on the radio? I'll do a sermon on those, you know, and we'll maybe listen to it, have a little fun time with that. You know, people go, oh, that's my favorite song, and here's the reason why I like it, you know. Because in reality, let's be honest, that's how a lot of us are spiritualized. That's what it's about. Whether it's a favorite hymn or song or something, that's what preaches to us. It's like a mini musical devotional. That's what it's about. The last thing on your list, and I only had one person who said this, we'd like to invite and grow. No comment. We'll get back to that one. But I thought to myself, are you serious? We got to, come on, friends. When I came here, that's what the SPR, that's what you all said. We want to grow. We want to bring more people into our church, make it happen. And you're doing some things, but, you know, if that's a list and it doesn't get on the list, it's like if prayer didn't make it, I'd be going, come on, friends. Where's that prayer thing at? It should be up there at the top and making everything happen, put it together. Okay, y'all got that for the results? Okay, y'all see that? That's what you said you wanted and put it together. So I said, okay, God, you need to help me with this. What in the world can we do that can go from the top, second, third, and fourth, can do some of those things and put it together? What can we do as a church? John Wesley. John Wesley said to the guys who meet in the Holy Club, you know what, we need a little help. So we're going to intensify things for 21 days. How many days? 21. Let me say it again. How many days? 21 days. All you got to do is hold on for 21 days. And he said, every day I'll ask you a different question, and we'll see how it goes for you. And I'll ask you how to go for you for those questions and see how an impact that has in your life. Now, John Wesley would ask a spiritual question every once in a while, but they were very simple. One of the questions was, are you getting enough rest? Now, some of you would go, that's not a spiritual question. Are you kidding me? Oh, you know, when you go, I can't read my Bible because I am so, and I'm also so very, very busy. So John Wesley asked the early Methodists, how's your sleep coming along? Now, most of those folks go, I don't want to even talk about that. Not good, you know. I've been trying to sleep for 4 hours. I can't get that in sometimes. I'm just restless. I got to take melatonin to get myself to sleep. It won't work. God said, this is a spiritual attribute of you. If you're not feeling good and get your capacity and up your sleep, it'll impact your life. It'll impact your spiritual life too. It'll impact your relationship with me. And that's the kind of questions Wesley would ask. 21 different questions he'd ask the Methodists. And he'd say, this is what I think you need to do. Look at this question. We'll look at it with a little Bible thing, you know, that kind of thing, and we'll see what it's like. And then you come back and tell me how to go for you. And if you did lousy, maybe you'll say, you know what, this is kind of important, so I think I'll try to get 5 hours of sleep this week. See how it goes, you know? I'll just see how it fits for me and everything else. You understand this process? 21 questions that he put together. Every year I go down to Kansas City, Church of the Resurrection. I think they're up to, 23,000 members down there now. Largest United Methodist church that we have. And one of the guys on staff, Adam Hamilton, you've heard his name? Good guy, I've been friends for a while. He has a new guy that he hired a couple of years ago. His name was Chris Formsby. And Chris Formsby wrote a little book because he was in charge of 23,000 people to have a little devotional thing. How do I fit into that busy Kansas City and get their lives together? So he wrote a little devotional book, and you know what? We were part of a kind of an online group. There were 8 of us, and we'd meet together, kind of online, do this together. Chris was one of those people. Of course, he was just starting out in ministry, that kind of stuff. But he wrote a little book, and you know what he called it? The Wesley Challenge. And you know what it was? The 21 questions that John Wesley wrote. And he introduced that to 23,000 people in a congregation. Wherever they were, all they did was get a devotional for 21 days, every day a different question, a little bit of a little devotional thought, little one, and then a challenge, how you could apply that in your life. What could you do about that, etc. You with me? And for 21 days, in their email box, every morning would come this little email that would just say, today's question is, are you getting enough rest? Question is, how are you doing on that? What do you need to do? Here's what the Bible says. And here's a challenge for you. Go to bed 10 minutes early. Have your warm milk and cookies, whatever it is for you, to get into bed, and get yourself asleep as part of that whole thing. And how's it go for you? You all with me? And so that's what he began to do and ask it. So Chris put this thing together, a little booklet, a little thin little thing, and he popped it out there. And you know what? The Methodists went crazy. I mean, it was unbelievable. Now catch this. They went through for 21 days, and everybody threw their books away or put it on the shelf, didn't pay attention to it. He goes, guess what? That was in February. Guess what happens? Today's May. And so for 21 days in May, we're going to go back and look at those 21 questions again. And they go, we've already gone through this. How's your sleep coming? Okay, give me the questions. And they go through it again. And after a while, they feel pretty good about that. Then 3 months later, they do it again. And 3 months later, they do it again. And after a while, they're like, whoa, you know what? Seriously? I think about, intentionally, am I getting enough rest? I think about different spiritual things in my life. So that little book lasts them all year long. Y'all with me? And some of them never got the book. They just waited for that little devotional thing to come. And they knew what the questions were. They knew when the hard ones were coming. But they did it, and they made it together. And you know what? They became strong in their discipleship. You with me? Now, if a 23,000 member big church can do it, why can't we do it? We got better members. We got better disciples. We got hungry people. We're just as hungry as anybody else. So I said to myself, this is the answer. This is what we need to do, what Chris did. This would be perfect. This little book he's got is a little simple thing. It's not much money at all. It's a pricey, kind of nothing kind of book thing, etc. But so I put this together with a plan of what we can do, based on not what I think, but what you told me that you wanted and you needed. So we're actually doing something. Now catch this. Not just you, but you can invite other friends of yours. I got a good friend of mine, and she's kind of alone. I'm going to call her and say, would you like to join me in this? Pastor's going to send out for 21 days. Can I get your email? I don't have an email. There's no problem. Pastor's going to print some of these off. We can take them with us, and then we'll work on these questions every week. We'll be part of that. A little devotional comes to you about this question, put together. Pastor's going to preach on that to begin with for 3 weeks, just for 3 weeks. That's all it is, 21 days, and see where things go. All right. So on this little thing in the yellow, it says study book available on Amazon. You can go on Amazon. You can order the book now. We won't need this for about another 2 weeks, week and a half. But you can go online and order this book if you want to. I think it's like $3. And it's on sale. It's a no-brainer deal. But order the book. It's not on a lot of reading. It's on ways to help support the questions that we're going to be talking about. And you can share it. You can get a friend to help you to do that kind of thing, etc. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to buy it, but I'm just suggesting you do. It's available on paperback and also on Kindle, for those of you that are in Kindle persons, etc. There's the number. But you go online, you can see it. It's the study book for participants, not for leader, not for youth, but participants. But they do have a youth section, too, on it you can put together. Now, catch this. We all go through it for 21 days. And a couple of months later, we do it again. We can invite some other people to come with us because we've already been on the journey. And guess what we do? We share it with them and say, oh, I've been there. You know what the hardest one was? Am I getting enough rest? What? What kind of spiritual thing is that? Oh, it's a biggie. But we talk about that and make it together. And then the next time we go through it 3 months later, We go through the 21 questions again. That's what Wesley did. And then guess what happens? All of a sudden you go, whoa, I got some friends. I got somebody who always says to me, I just don't have enough time. I want to sleep and everything else. Join with me in this thing. And guess what? We'll all sit down at my kitchen table. We'll meet at a coffee shop and we'll talk about this and we'll see how things are going. We'll check in once a week and see how things are. I'll just call you on the phone. We'll give us that to talk about rather than, oh, my life is falling apart, soap opera, and put it together and see what can happen. Y'all with me on this? Remember, it's based on what you told me that you wanted. Now, I'm inviting you to be part of this because once we go through it, and the next 3 times we go through it by the end of the year, it'll really sharpen us up. We'll be able to come to the end of the year and go, I am different. I'm not the same. And you know what? It wasn't too hard. It was pretty simple for me to make that happen and put it together. Okay. The next thing, real quick, is called smorgasbord options for you to participate in your schedule. Fit your schedule and your lifestyle. You don't commit to anything at this point. I'm just planting a seed. These are some ideas you can do with this stuff coming to you. You can say, I want to be there on Sunday morning and hear the questions that are going on. We also video it, so it'll be online. You can watch it if you want to and put it that way. Sunday afternoon, small groups with the pastor. You got your study book, whatever, like we always do for special event things, but just for 3 weeks, I'm going to either meet at the church or something. If you want to come and join us, you can. We just want to sit down and say, how are things going for you? Where were there pinch points? Where were there not? What's happening with you? Have coffee. Celebrate. Are you kidding me? That's what we need to do. Have a good time talking. They're also going to do one on midweek on Wednesdays. And on the backside, it'll tell you about the time of these. And I've invited the people from Farrar to come over and join you that have available in the week during the day. And I think you used to do Bible studies or something then too, but it just gives us an opportunity to touch base and to do that kind of thing, etc. Personal gatherings. You can just do it by yourself. If all you want to do is do this little thing 21 days by yourself, welcome, go for it and put it together. We'll send out a devotional every day that will help you with that. We'll also send out a weekly devotional. This one kind of covers the first 7 questions, next 7. So each week it'll be kind of if you're only going to give 1 hour, if you're only going to give a few minutes to it every week, it'll cover for you for the week. You with me? Or you can go daily. That's what I'm hoping you'll do is do daily. But if you can only do it for a week, I'll have one of those sent out too. You can use either one that you want or not use it at all, but I hope you'll use it. And how things are coming and what's happening to you. Do the devotional yourself each week. Okay, get together with another person. Do your devotionals together. You got a friend or somebody else. They don't have to be a member of this church. They don't have to be a member of any church. You can be anybody you want to. It can be your best friend. It can be somebody who lives in another state. It's okay. Next week, we'll ask for email addresses for any of those other people. They want to join us, or at any point we can do that and add them into that. Small group things. Anybody here want to host a small group? Open up your home. Or want to get together with somebody and go to a coffee shop or meet in your kitchen? The question is, how's your soul today? How's things going for you? That's in essence the question. That's it. You know, those little devotionals I'll give you and a little guide that I'll give you every week so you can help another person. You can read it together and just answer some questions, just to get to stir the pot and get it moving, etc. Meet another person for coffee each week and do that. It's easier when 2 or more are lifting. Accountability. How's it going? And then as you go through this, write me an email and say, oh, I didn't get much rest. Pastor, I slept an extra 10 minutes. Yay! Miracle of miracles. We'll write that down. But as other spiritual things happen to you, to share those kinds of things so we can encourage one another with that, etc. And then the 21 questions that we were able to offer, and get ready. Oh, and then get ready for an overview of the Bible beginning. Because your third thing you talked about was wanting to do a Bible study or Bible kind of thing, etc. Okay, turn the page over. I have, and it's Piper in the green, or in the blue. I found this girl by the name of Rachel Rotert, and she's 26 years old, and she wrote a book that she's publishing herself called God's Great Love Story. And what it is, you go through the entire Bible as an overview in 6 weeks. Catch that. And it is so fun. It is so enjoyable. You can read the whole Bible if you want to, but this is just an overview. What's the story look like? What's the overall picture, what it looks like? It is a cool book, everything else. So when we get done with this 21 days for Lent, we'll go into this Bible study thing, which would be about the same thing like we've done before. We've already got this practice going. We've got some emails, that kind of thing. And then you can either go online, watch a little video, for about 6 minutes, I think, our videos are, or you can do anything you want to help you to get through the Bible in 6 weeks. You with me? And her whole thing is, if you spend 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 minute a week Well, look at an overview. You can go to whatever level you want to in this little thing, but it's a great little piece. So I'm giving you an idea of where we're going with this thing and what goes on. Okay, last section in green. What we want our congregation to do, because we're getting ready to kick this puppy off. Remember, you may just do it yourself, but you may want to invite another person to come with you, because in the following weeks, we're going to invite another people to come on and help us. This is evangelism. This is outreach. You want to grow? This will help it. You get your friend and say, "What do you want to help me?" We don't do anything like that in our church. What? We have a little devotional guide at Lent, but we don't do anything practical. Let's have coffee. Let's sit down and talk about that. Call on the phone. Got 10 minutes. "Hey, how's it going?" I know you're shut in. You get the question? "How'd you do on your sleep?" "Not good." "Well, I did great." Except, put it together and see what happens. So pray. Pray about your participation in the next 2 weeks as we talk about this. When and how. What do you think about it? What would you like to attend in this list of stuff? What would be good for you? What would not be good for you? We're going to see where it goes. Look over the smorgasbord of options and see what might fit your schedule and your lifestyle. Pray for our church, each person to participate. This is a church-wide effort. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but we'd sure like to kick you onto the board and make that happen and get this thing rolling another one. And then consider hosting or participating. You may say, "I've got 3 friends that I really like. I don't like other people. I only like the 3 friends I've got. And I'm going to invite them to come and have coffee with me, but I don't want those other folks to show up." Or maybe you're so inclined to say, "You have another friend, you're my friend, but you have another, bring them too. We'll just sit down, we'll have a question about it." You do that kind of thing, and you know what? God stirs the pot. You start going, "I'm feeling good about myself." So when the end of the year comes, we'll say, "How have you changed?" "I get 7 hours of sleep a night. And I read 10 verses of the Bible, but I slept 7 hours a week." So you're able to celebrate what it is and God working in you. You give God that much, size of a mustard seed, move a mountain. That's what I want us to do. I want us to be practical, but not just for us to enjoy it. We may practice it the first time we go through it, but for each succeeding time, we say to people, in another month, we're going to start this thing up at the church. I'd sure like to have you. What do I have to do? No problem. Give me an email address. I'll give you a piece of paper. I'll give you the whole piece to go through and see where God's leading and where God's going. Y'all with me? Now, I need you to pray about that, because it means a lot of time for me and a lot of time for you. It means we got to pray for one another, because we're producing. If this thing falls apart, out the window. Forget it. We'll just go back to what we've always done. Let's see. I believe there is a God, and I believe that God can work with us individually, not to guilt us, but to move us in a closer relationship with Him. We just have to find some way to open the door, because we got some issues when it comes to lifestyle and schedules. But we're going to give Him a little bit and see what happens, so that the motivation is there. It's called momentum. That's an old John Deere system. Or a B tractor. B tractor for you John Deere people. My grandfather sold John Deeres. I remember that. I'd say to my grandfather, "Why do you shut it off?" "I don't know how to shut this thing off. We just run it out of gas. That's all we do. When the gas goes off," you've been there, you know what it's like. Somebody walks around, tries to stick their finger in it, breaks their arm or something, go, "Oh, stay away from that thing." We want a little momentum. Why not? Why not? So we don't do church like we've always done. Why not? Why don't we just find ourselves living on Happy Street? Why don't we find ourselves in a relationship with God? Why don't we give God just a little bit? And we're only saying for 21 days, even a minute, 2 minutes. And just see what happens. It's going to be tough. Some of the questions will be tough for you. And they're simple questions, nothing deep. But it all has a spiritual base. It all has a reason to say, how are we moving forward with God? Let's pray together. God, I give you thanks this day. Just help us to get where we need to go. Either we're excited or we're scared or it's like whatever. But you know what? God, this is a plan. It's a method, and we are Methodists. Be in it. Find us, surprise us, and line us up and get us ready. For this we ask in your holy name. And all the people said, Amen. Will the ushers come forward as we receive our morning offering?